It is day 58 for God's gift. It's day 56 for a lot of these plants. I have been awake for a while watching John Kirby talk about Ukraine. And yes, I just farted if you heard that. Sorry if you had to hear that. Alright, so anyways, not really. Anyways, wow, this is a great video start. Okay, so John Kirby, do I think that he sounds like the American military is in charge of the Ukrainian military and that we are fighting a proxy war by, we're fighting a war with Russia without ever actually going to war with Russia? I think that. Am I certain? No, but from what it sounded like with Kirby talking about the Navy warship that got attacked, the Russian flagship Navy cruiser that got attacked, it sounds like the Americans were a lot more involved than they want to say, and that the Americans wanted to see how well this ship held up to a missile attack, and that the Americans were surprised by how well the Russian ship held up to a missile attack. So these ships can be equipped with anti-sinking technology, which is something that is used on smaller boats a lot, but trying to equip a massive cruiser with anti-sinking capabilities is difficult. And my understanding is that John Kirby probably was impressed by how well the Russian warship held up to an attack like that. He personally would not want his warship to get attacked like that because he feels like he might be dead. But he'd hopefully have his warship hold up to an attack like that. So Mariupol, everyone, okay, so apparently the leader of our military, what's his name, Harvard guy, he was in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. My mind's blacking out right now. You know who he is, Army guy. His assessment of the war was that Russia's gonna take Kyiv in the first week, and this war's over so fast, and Russia's really disappointed that they didn't win the war in 1 week, and that Russia was planning shock and awe just like the American military. It's very disappointing if Russia's completely failed because they thought they were going to take the entire country of Ukraine in 2 weeks, and for some reason they're still struggling with Mariupol. Everyone's very confused about that. Yeah. That's a person that, for some reason, wasn't involved with the Iraq War at all. That's a person that, the lesson they learned from the Iraq War is war's easy! Especially when you're going against the United States military, basically. Like, that's doing, like, you want to talk about command and control, there's the command and control that's done by the Ukrainians, that's done by the by the Americans commanding the Ukrainians, or commanding the non-commissioned officers. So the Russians have no flexibility in their military whatsoever. They don't have the NCO, the commissioned officers, and then the NCOs that have decision-making capabilities on the low level right now. Like, the American military is that much superior to the Russian, and the Ukrainian military is that superior to the Russian military because they've been trained by the Americans and they follow our philosophy of war. I think that in all wars, you don't find out who the real soldiers are until the war is far enough. So you can have this command structure with the NCOs and the commissioned officers, and you can like make sure that they actually fully understand how to fight a war with like on the colonel level, or like for a lot of people, I think they wouldn't consider it a colonel level, but I think they would consider it the colonel level because that's colonels making command on the ground, colonel in a helicopter, that sort of situation. I think that the American military is super arrogant for thinking that the Russian military has no flexibility in their command structure. Personally, I think that I was right in the beginning. Okay, so back to this Harvard guy that's in charge of the United States military. I can't remember his name right now. He's supposedly a really good guy. He was in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He probably still is. He's Army. He said that all of Kyiv was gonna fall in like 2 weeks, and then now it's like, wow, Kyiv's not falling, they're backing off. Wow, Russia's failed so much. I guess I was wrong. My initial assessment of the war was wrong. It's like, did you really believe? I don't think you're that stupid to think that your initial. I don't think that was your initial assessment of the war. I think you're doing psyops. Unless you're like stupid, like, because there's no way in hell you think that taking the city of Kyiv is easy. Oh, the Ukrainians are pussies; they'll just all die. They're all gonna surrender. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm confused about that. Okay, so one thing the military is not confused about is whether or not I'm crazy. So this grow operation, like, do I have any doubt in my mind that I have had a consultant that's an expert in my head? There's none whatsoever. Like, she tells me what, like, very important things. Like, she's the reason I'm going to yield so much, I think. She's the reason I'm too confident in my yield. Like, I'm so confident I'm going to yield so much. I haven't yielded anything. I'm confident I can yield more than her. And I don't know if I can. All I'm saying is that, like, when you have a marijuana growing consultant in your head that knows things you don't know, and you're that advanced, but they're that advanced also, and, like, you have conversations with them, you know they're there. And all I'm saying is, like, the American government, the American military, this situation I'm in right now where a lot of you guys are going, is this guy crazy? Is this guy crazy? I'm just saying the government does not in any world think I'm crazy. Like, they could never bust the drugs if they thought I was crazy. I don't have a watch. I don't have a phone. I have no idea where I am. I've never been here before. Somehow I show up at the exact location at the exact time to walk into a grocery store, and I'm in the store for 10 minutes. When I come out, they've already moved the drugs. I'm just saying, like, somehow in this time window, someone is telling me to arrive somewhere I've never heard of in Compton at a specific time where a hood nigga, probably not, is waiting for me. He's an OG. They're all, I always, like, when I'm dropping off usually in, like, a place like Compton, they send an OG. Like, he'll be driving like a Lincoln Navigator with giant rims, and he's like a 50-year-old black dude. And, like, he's determined, like, like, it's like he's getting pumped up to pick up. You know, like, have you ever heard the Drake song? Like, I'm scared of the drop. You know, he's like, Money in the Grave is what it's called. Drake, Money in the Grave. And, like, he talks about being scared of the drop. These people, like, they're not scared of the drop. It's like you're getting ready to do a drive-by shooting. You're getting ready to pick up the drugs and get them to the dope house. So, like, all I'm saying is that, like, when you guys wonder if I'm crazy, is this guy crazy? Are people actually hacking his brain? The American military has no doubt I'm not crazy, but their focus right now seems to be fighting a proxy war in Ukraine. And, like, I don't think they get the way that they look to the Russians. Like, I think they're not afraid of the Russians to that extent. Like, that they're like, they have no problem making sure the Russians know the American military is killing you. The Russian people need to know. When you send soldiers to die in Ukraine, the American military is killing them. And, like, I don't think that Kirby, like, fully understands the psychology of a Russian person watching the Americans' behavior surrounding the war in Ukraine. But to me, if I was watching it, I would think the Americans are killing our people, and that's what Russia's basically saying, is that they're trying to stop the Nazis. And I think for them, like, stopping the Nazis is stopping Mariupol. And, like, when people think that Mariupol's done, the Russians will take that one. The American general thought that they could take Kyiv in the first 2 weeks. Of course, they're going to take Mariupol in like 2 days. Like, taking Mariupol is like taking a pile of rubble. That's my opinion. Like the American media wants to say, the Russians are starving these people. Everyone in Mariupol is starving. Why would this war is terrible. They're starving them to death. How could they starve them to death? Why does no one care they're starving to death? It's like, okay, dude, have you ever heard of war? What's the -- strategy for war? Starve them to death. That's pretty much the entire war. Are you going to starve everyone in Mariupol to death? The Russian soldiers are going to keep dying there for a long time. That's like a military center. It's like, can you take San Antonio? Can you take Colorado Springs? More like, I'd probably say a better example would be like taking San Diego or Pensacola. Like, why is it so difficult for Russia to take the city of Pensacola? because you can't take it. Like, you're just gonna like bomb the shit out of it until there's no one there. And that's why, like, when I talk about places I don't want to live, places that they're just gonna bomb the shit out of so that there's no one there. I'm just saying, like, Mariupol's a dead person place, just like certain parts of the United States are gonna be dead people places. And I feel like when the American military is commanding the Ukrainian military secretly, and they're like using this opportunity to kill Russians, they don't get the psychology of Russia. Like, you're gonna piss these people off too much. You've already pissed off too many people. Like, at some point you guys gotta figure out how to stop pissing people off. I don't think you know how to do that because you guys are a bunch of military people that think about killing people, and you do not understand soft power. Like, your soft power, it's like completely depleted now. Like, because of COVID-19, you have no soft power anymore. Like, unless you count your money, but your money can be fucked. And that's the thing about a person that hasn't considered how fucked they are, because they're lying, because they're not telling the truth about the American people, American military, or certain people in the American intelligence community, the Jewish people controlling people's minds. It's stupid. Like, Jewish people are controlling people's minds. No. Right now, Jewish people are making sure that Ukrainian Holocaust survivors evacuate. Don't worry, everyone in Israel. We're getting out the 103-year-olds from Ukraine. We'll make sure they have a nice place to stay in Germany. Fuck the 30-year-olds. Let's make sure the 103-year-olds get out. Seriously, every time I open up the news, Holocaust survivors evacuated from Ukraine. I'm serious. Like, I've seen it like probably 6 times now. But I don't get it. Like, I feel like I don't get Jewish people as much. Like, I'm Jewish, and like now I'm like, I feel like I'm not, because like I don't get the Holocaust thing. I think the Holocaust happened. Like, I really do, and I think that the Holocaust didn't happen the way it happened, and the way that the Jewish people used the Holocaust, man, like, no one will ever understand like how the Jewish people have like used the Holocaust, like have made it, taking it from like an event that's not as big to turning it into a massive event, so that they can convince everyone that they're threatened while they control every single part of the media, basically. Like, while they're brainwashing people, like at least certain people like Andrew Mitchell, Brian Seltzer. I don't know who all's in on it. I'm guessing people from CNN, people from MSNBC are very in on it. They're the ones controlling the news, but all I know for certain is that, like, in no possible universe do I think that, like, my brain is not getting hacked. In no possible universe. And, like, when you guys are ignoring it, I think that in no possible universe do you think my brain has not been hacked. And you just don't want to tell the truth now because everyone's afraid of getting in trouble.